Hello everyone, welcome to part 8 of my Wolves on the BackBit series. We are now at the combo player stage of things. Now this is the part where you take the video and the audio, you put them in the same box and you see if they fight. Ooh, and how they do fight. It's tough when you got a 1 megahertz processor trying to do about 8,000 interrupts per second and bring in and display 6 full multicolor bitmaps every second. It's quite a task. So even though they're not doing their jobs well, my first task is just to get them doing it. At the same time, they're unaware of each other at this point. I just want to get, two balls rolling at once. So yeah, there's not much finesse uh, right off the bat, and I'm still, well, this is, as a first test, this is me figuring out, what do I need to do to make this happen? So bear with me here. It's a short one, 15 minutes long. We'll see where this leads, right? It's going to lead to part 9 is what it's going to do. But yeah, you know how it goes. Anyway, so yeah, part 8, combo player. Let's watch.
So what's this nonsense? Well, I'm starting on the combo player, the one that will do the audio and the video together. First, I want to make sure the audio works. Well, I changed how the buffers work. It's now, we have one buffer, a certain length, it starts playing it back, and every cycle, the buffer will catch up to the player. But right now, check this out, because there's no video, that's the, well, 0 doesn't matter, but this is how many occurrences where it only had to copy 1 page, and this is how many occurrences where it had to copy 23 pages. Now that is how I tricked it at the beginning to fill most of the buffer. So it pretty much is able to loop around and check for more information pretty much as it required. But in doing so, here, let me start this up again. Not very healthy for the BackBit, who knows? It is constantly accessing because I am queuing up a new 64K based on the audio stream current pointer in the BBT. But obviously with the video, it's going to alternate between the video stream and the audio stream. So the BackBit's still going to be pretty busy, but with only a 6K audio buffer, it probably still won't fall behind. But the audio plays now. Let's see if I can get some work on the video. Then I can trim this this crap, and save some cycles, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you get it. After working for hours, I finally got the new version of the player to render to a single buffer again, and it's not perfect yet. At least the video plays through in 2 minutes 9 seconds instead of the 2:35 it actually is. Yeah. Well, we're running off of just 2 buffers now. There's no mechanism in place to make sure the color isn't updated while the screen is showing. And I noticed flashing blue, that's a corruption from my koala converter. It's just, sometimes it thinks it's gray, sometimes it thinks it's blue. That's sad. I don't want to re-encode these pictures, so that's probably what it's going to be. Windows couldn't combine the video and audio streams into one file without chopping off a bunch of it, and I don't know why. However, the SD2IEC did it with a copy command. It took over an hour, but it did do it. And then I made a BBT, blah, blah, blah. 1 buffer here, and oh, do I have work to do.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here. Oh, if only they were here.
If I remove all the fetches for new audio from the BackBit, well, it just loops what it has in memory. Very annoying. But you can see the overhead, all the NMIs are causing on the overall performance. This is meant to play video at 6 frames a second is my ideal rate. At the moment, check this out. Sure is annoying, isn't it? And if we take out a lot of the fluff I have in my Digi player just to debug, here's what we get. Each flash is a new frame. And once the video is completed, it just keeps on reading into the Digi audio section. Oh, there, it just spit all that out. It has no idea what the data is. Of course, I got to watch for the end frame. Count them. There's 900 and how many? 934 unique frames in this video. I skipped frame 1 because it was all badly koalaized. And if we stop the timer for the NMI pretty much before it begins, well, the interrupts for the sound won't ever occur, and look how much faster the video is without the hassle of dealing with audio. And that's still doing a fresh cue for every single frame on the BackBit, which is not necessary, but for the moment, it's the easiest way I'm doing this. Of course, at the moment, it's playing frames as fast as it's able to, but in the end, I hope to have a raster interrupt tell the program when a new frame is required, at which point, if it's behind, it'll skip a frame. So what you're looking at this time, I put a little wedge-a-doodle into the fill audio routine to keep a record of how many pages of new audio it's stashed. It's called, well, every 2 frames in a row, and then it loops. But as you can see, well, I don't know, the one's a fluke, but 13 and 14. Now the buffer itself is from 4800 to 6000. So what is that? 1632, 40 pages. But at most, it fills 13 or 14 every time. So that tells me I don't need to call the audio routine as often, or at least, you know, I could possibly afford to let it fall behind a bit. If it falls behind a lot, then you'll get, you know, see, it'll start repeating its buffer until it finally loads more. I've already tried that. It was interesting, but stupid. Obviously, audio playback is priority 1. Video can skip frames as required, but at the moment, I'm just still hacking this out because I want to see this bloody thing work. It's been like, you know, I don't know, maybe a month. Probably less than that, but what an exciting thing to do. It's the most challenging fun I've ever had with this machine. And yeah, I know I can do better. And I might have to print this out and take it to work and stare at it some more because, yeah, it's really drilling my brain here. You don't want it to wait. That's like the demo rule. You don't want the PC or the computer to wait in a busy loop. And when it's waiting for the BackBit at the moment, it is. However, to copy multiple frames and still be able to display them when required, I have to copy the color to a buffer. But if I have the color copied directly from the BackBit to the color RAM, the caveat or whatever there is the BackBit has to be queued up to the video information at that point. So it can't be doing a audio fetch, or it can't be currently copying a new frame because it has to be prepared at any time to jump back and go copy from the BackBit. There's ways around that. I'll find them. I made a little math snafu. 4800 to 6000 is only 24 pages because I made it 4 frames between playbacks, between sound buffer fetches. Check this out.
Must be because I haven't slept in 3 days. Oh, this darn
Yeah, that's because now it's probably fetching new audio every, well, it's trying to gather 28 pages, but that's more than it holds. So does that make sense? It's literally exhausting itself and then catching up, or trying to. Yeah, not cool. So why does the fill audio routine say it's filled 27 pages before it leaves? Because even though the buffer is only 24 pages, audio is continuing to play. So the buffer, say the audio is playing here, it's scooting along. And if it's, say if the reader is here, the audio playback is happening here, it has to do all this and catch up. So already it's done a full buff, and by then the player has moved down and it has to do even more pages to catch up completely. And that's what this is. So that's not good. Either I have to make the audio call itself more often, or have a bigger audio buffer so it has to, so it can able to fill up more before it needs to go get more. Because 27 pages in the scheme of things isn't a lot, because each frame is 32 pages bitmap, 4 pages color, 4 pages screen, and then down the road, another 4 pages color when it's copied to the color RAM, unless I do it directly. So the audio buffer right now is the smallest part. But this is my little temp scribble, which didn't really happen yet because my source code is in here, my PAL assembler is here. So right now it's using this tiny little buffer and this frame and this frame. And my machine language is here, but it's already overtaking what was my screen. Originally I had all the video matrices in the same spot. So from basic I could actually look at stuff and just change the bank, and all three things happen, change at once. Does that make sense? And this space and this space are also no-go because that's the shadow RAM. What do you call that? The VIC font shadow registers. Yeah, so, well, I mean, I could fine-tune this, but, yeah. So what are you looking at here? This is the first video bank's bitmap. However, I filled and colored the bottom 3 rows. Now, if I did this, conceivably you can hold a bitmap and the video matrix information on the same screen just by, coloring it differently and making sure it's invisible. So in one 8K section, you can have both of these things, which increases the amount of video buffers you can have. But as you can see, you're kind of forcing a fake widescreen on yourself. And I'm not a big fan of things that don't use all the available space, because it's obvious that some little trickery is going on. But that's an option for the future, perhaps, or maybe I'll end up doing that. But if I did, I'd have to re-encode this entire video, because yeah, the frames are 4:3 right now. I chopped the sides off from the original widescreen. But just looking at the image, I just wanted to see what it would look like in the end. It's not terrible. I mean, well, imagine that there's a wolf on here, not this garbage, but see if I, yeah, because there's nothing down there. Okay, whatever. Neat. Just before I call it quits for the night, I just threw in a hack that would skip every 4th frame. The video is almost synchronized.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here.
But boy, does it look bad.
If only they were here.